allegiance.
Yep, let me get that up. Let me share my screen, get the flag up here.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
States of
America
America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it
which it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for
for all.
all.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, this meeting was advertised in the Lancaster paper on December the 13th. I would like to announce we had two executive sessions. Monday, December 7th for legal and personnel matters, and then Wednesday, December 16th for personnel matters. Okay, any additions or corrections to the past meeting minutes for December 3rd?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I believe you have one motion to read underneath the executive session.
Oh, that's right, I missed that, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. We hired another temporary road crew to help out in the snow. So the motion be to hire Jeremy R. Culp as a relief snowplow driver at the rate of $25 an hour with an incentive of $50 bonus payable upon a completion of snow route assignment effective December 16th. That's a motion. I'll make it. Any comments or questions? I look for a second.
I'll second that motion, Alan.
Okay. And he helped out last night. He did a great job. So any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to the minutes. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I have none.
Neither did I, Alan.
Okay, the motion to approve the Thursday, December 3rd Board of Supervisor meeting minutes as presented. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Has a question.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Alan, I
Yes.
think you had a question there.
We did.
Oh, okay.
I could get the mute button. Hang on, Mr. Mackley.
Doug,
Yeah, hey, Alan, just a little clarification, if you would, please. On the website, it says contact us, big bright letters. And it says, due to a COVID-19 exposure, the township is following all CDC guidelines. Township offices are closed. I guess my question is, it's closed for you guys, but what about the authority and what about the police? You people are the owners of the building and the authority pays rent to you. If you close the building, how come you're making them show up? I mean, you're not making them, but you're letting the building open for them, but you guys aren't open. Well, I don't understand it. I just need an explanation.
well, they're renting the building, so we didn't, our side, we're closed and we're open by appointments only. And they decided to be open, so we didn't tell them they couldn't be there. The police department's downstairs, so they're by themselves.
So it goes back to the question from the last time. Why are you closed? If you don't think enough of them to not close the building. It says the building's closed, but yet they're open. I don't understand it. I mean, it's just a play on words, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I know I had this dissertation with one of your board members the last time, and it's like you guys are just worried about yourselves and not anybody else.
May I make a comment, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead.
The sewer authority, COVID has made its way through that office. Majority of them have tested positive for COVID-19 and have experienced it. And according to their physicians, they are now immune to the virus for the next 3 months. So they felt safe, and obviously, since they've already been exposed and had it, that they could remain open. So, and obviously the police has to remain open.
Well, and I understand the police. I guess I'm just a little perplexed that you guys decided to close the building in big red letters. The building is closed, which is not true.
Township offices are closed. We'll make that correction on the
Yeah,
door.
we
I'll
should
have
add
Lisa
the
make
door
that change.
specific. Yep. Okay,
Okay, I guess I'm beating a dead horse, but you know, again, it goes back. I think your people are just, you're more worried about yourself and other people. That's all. Go ahead, move on.
okay, thank you. Did we vote on the minutes yet?
We did.
Okay. Police agreement. There's a side letter agreement we worked out with the police union so that we can change the wording in the ordinance for the MMO, which will save a decent amount of money in 2022. So the slides letter reads to approve the executive, the sign letter agreement with East Cocalico Township Police Officers Association implementing a health reimbursement account for active officers and an automatic cost of living adjustment for retirees and direct deposits for payable in exchange for modifications to the police pension plan ordinance. That's a motion.
I'll make that motion, Alan.
I'll second it, Alan.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. I'd like to thank Officer Walsh and Kreischer and Sergeant Projan for helping to get this ironed out between the police and us. The next motion is an ordinance. Motion, an ordinance.
What do you want to let Tom explain the ordinance there? Since we
Yeah.
have him here.
Okay.
This
Okay.
ordinance was advertised in Langston newspapers on December 3, 2020. And essentially that amends section 1 or section 4A.02, change in monthly retirement benefit. This came from Eckert Simons. And as to each annuitant the amount of monthly retirement benefits payable to such annuitant may be changed at the discretion of the Board of Supervisors and may be increased by an amount determined by multiplying such payments by an adjustment factor as of the adjustment date. That's the whole change to the ordinance, and that's the only change. The rest of the ordinance is the same. Section 2 says township manager shall be directed to work with the plan to cause a new restatement of the plan document to be published, as may be required by the plan. That's the whole amendment.
Okay. I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance 2020-02, amending certain provisions of the police pension plan relative to the establishment and maintenance of the pension annuity insurance and benefit fund. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that, Alan.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. It changes the word shall to may, which changes one of the figures in the MMO, which will benefit us giving less money per year to satisfy the MMO. That's basically what that is. Land planning, Casey. Is he here?
Yep, he needs to unmute his mic.
There we go.
Yep.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
All right, so the only item on our engineering report tonight is the 985 building phase 2 expansion plan. This is Sturdy Built. Sturdy Built recently had some things progress that they weren't foreseeing when they recently did the last expansion. Therefore, their 5-year plan is more or less already up. they are proposing to build on to the recently built improvements and include a 21-foot by 203-foot addition to the south side of the existing building towards their office space, which would be about a total of 4,200 square feet in building footprint. The current proposal implements building over top of what is already asphalt and concrete paving, and all the roof drainage will go to the recently installed Basin 2, which we have been told will be able to handle those flows. There is a note there in the engineer report. Basically, the applicant is trying to expedite the required approvals, and this is why we have it before you tonight. They are looking for a waiver of Chapter 194 Land Development Plan processing requirements. So that would be something for the board to think about. If they are interested, I think Lisa may have printed you out an email that I had sent Tony earlier today. That email, Tony and I had discussed certain conditions as part of a possible waiver of land development plan processing requirements. Again, basically, this addition is a 4,268 square foot proposal, which takes the place of some of their parking area. If you would like, I can read down through all the different conditions, unless you have already read through them and are satisfied with them. You let me know what the board's wishes are.
What's the wish of the board?
I didn't see them today, Casey, so maybe it would be beneficial to go through that.
So again, this is completely up to the board, but based on the size of the improvement and already having a recent plan done, already having prior deferrals, having the stormwater facilities this was our proposed motion and proposed conditions. Our recommendation would be to grant the waiver of the land development plan processing requirements conditioned upon the following. And this is kind of, I'm using layman's terms a little bit or Cliff Notes a little bit than reading through the whole thing, but conditioned upon the applicant providing required information to confirm the satisfaction of the township and township engineer and comply with applicable township stormwater management requirements. That's one. Number two, the understanding that the previous township deferrals that were granted on June 6th, 2019 related to the requirements of 194-25C and 194-25J, 194-32, and 194-33 of the saldo pertaining to required frontage improvements to existing streets, road widening, curb and sidewalk, and hereby extended will apply to as deferrals of this project, with the understanding that the applicant shall complete the prior deferrals if required by the Township Board of Supervisors in the future. So just to clarify that statement, the prior waiver of land development had those deferrals when they built the large building that you see now. This would basically be a continuation of those two deferrals. Condition 3, an updated site plan being provided to the township documenting compliance with all applicable zoning ordinance standards, identifying all required parking can be provided in accordance with the zoning ordinance, and an improved asphalt surface consistent with all applicable ADA and accessibility standards. I believe that Mr. Sensley was in communication with Tony regarding some of those parking requirements. Condition number 4, the applicant obtaining zoning relief prior to applying for building permit approval for any portion of the building currently depicted with the minimum required front yard setback of South Muddy Creek Road. Basically, if you would continue the building straight from what it is currently in the, I think it's a 21-foot direction, it does start to creep on one of the building setbacks by a few feet. So they were thinking about going to a zoning hearing board and speaking their case. So that would be one of their conditions. Condition 5, providing documentation satisfactory to the township that the existing recorded shared access easement with the adjacent property is adequate to facilitate reasonable vehicular access to the new addition and the loading doors. Basically, there is an existing easement between the two buildings. Sturdy Built owns, I think it's split between two properties. They have the offices on one property, then the warehouse space on the other. This easement would be in place so that if either property was ever sold, owners could navigate the parking lot and still access both buildings. Condition 6, the applicant's consultant submitting all necessary information to calculate the required traffic impact fees to the satisfaction of the township transportation engineer, and paying the required TIF fees in accordance with the township code. Condition 7, the applicant implementing and maintaining all appropriate E&S controls during their project. Condition 8, the applicant preparing and recording an as-built plan upon completion of the project to document the project improvements, along with plan notations referencing the township approval of waiver of land development and the associated deferrals of frontage improvements. Obviously, the applicant's obligation to complete the deferred improvements if required by the Township Board of Supervisors in the future. Condition 9, the understanding that a waiver of the park and open space requirement of the saldo is granted if the applicant applies for LERTA. If LERTA is not pursued by the applicant, the park and open space fees shall be calculated and paid to the satisfaction of the township. And lastly, condition number 10, the applicant acknowledging in writing the acceptance and need to comply with the conditions of the approval of the waiver of land development plan processing. So those 10 conditions would be along with the possible waiver of land development plan processing. Again, this proposed expansion is a 4,200 square foot expansion in the place of existing asphalt and concrete, and it would be in addition to the warehouse structure that they just recently completed.
Okay, what's the wish of the board?
Thank you, Casey.
Yep, no problem.
Casey, one quick question. When I read that this afternoon, you had mentioned it, I think it was item number, yeah, I'm looking at it here on email. It's item number 4, right? How much was it ballpark? How much was that overlapping into the setback requirement for South Muddy Creek Road? Just off the top of your head, do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I do not remember. I don't have the plans with me. I couldn't scale it off, but Tony, do you remember how much it went over?
Give or take 20 foot by 20 foot, 25 by 25, something similar to that. It wasn't very much.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
And that would be a hurdle or thing that Sturdy Built would have to still pass by the zoning hearing board, obviously. But we felt it necessary to put that condition as part of a possible granting of a waiver. And I can read the motion if you guys would like to proceed with that direction.
What do you think?
One thing, if I may add, for the board's knowledge, Brent, myself, and Tom met a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and discussed several projects. This was one of them, and that was the consensus from Mr. Goodman also, that they should seek zoning hearing board approval on that encroachment into the setback closest to South Muddy Creek Road. And Sturdy Built is fully welcome to do that. They have said that they would go and seek that approval.
Yeah.
The board want to move ahead on this?
Yeah, I don't have a problem moving ahead on it because the conditions, I think, reflect, I think one of the big concerns in the past, Casey and Tony, was, I think there was where those tanks were originally and how close they were to Muddy Creek, to South Muddy Creek Road way back when, remember? And then they did the new building, they moved them. So yeah, as long as that's one of the items there, I'm okay with that.
You want to read the motion, Casey?
Sure. So the recommended motion from us would be to grant a waiver of the land development plan processing requirements of the East Cocalico Township Subdivision Land Development Ordinance related to the proposed 985 Building Phase 2 expansion as presented to the township by the applicant and applicant's consultant on a site plan prepared by McCarthy Engineering Associates Incorporated, last revised October 28, 2020, and then conditioned upon the 10 conditions that were outlined in the Becker Engineering email dated December 17th, 2020. And those 10 conditions are the ones that I had read and paraphrased earlier.
There's nobody here representing that tonight.
I do not think so.
Okay, I'll make that motion for a second.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no.
Ralph
Motion
had a
carried.
question.
What?
Ralph has a question.
Yeah, Ralph.
Sorry, my mic was now unmuted. On this 985 building, did they take the LRTA into account last time? Or did they pay the park and rec fee?
If I may, I can answer that for you, Ralph. This is Tony. They did submit an application for LRTA on that first project, yes.
Are they expected to do it again on this one, or are they going to pay a park and rec fee?
As a matter of fact, I just received a LRTA application for this second project, so it looks like they're going to try and take advantage of LRTA again for this smaller project.
All right. And last question is, how many net increased parking spaces on the property with this new 4,200 square feet?
I can't give you that information without the plan in front of me. This increase is over a set of loading, or a set of bay doors that are ground level, and there were no parking spaces at that location as it stands now. But because they're expanding the building and possibly increasing their employee load in that building, those numbers will have to be met for parking. But in this exact area that they're talking.
Oh, no, we lost them.
I'll jump in for Tony while he reconnects his internet. Basically, Ralph, they have prepared a concept plan. Off the top of my head, I don't know if they had all the required parking spaces in there, but they had noted that they would put all the required parking spaces and all the required ADA parking spaces on the site as part of this building. I know Sturdy Build is aggressively trying to get some of these items completed, and this was one, making sure that the township was satisfied with possibly forward with a waiver. But as far as the parking, they will have to abide by all applicable zoning ordinance standards, including possibly repaving any areas to make sure that it meets the ADA requirements of 2% by 2%.
Thank you.
And just for clarification there also, that is item number 3 on Casey's email, outlining the motions from December 17th, 2020. So that is definitely here, and it's item number 3.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
If there's no
Tony
other-
Tony is with me on the phone here, so he can hear us. So
Yep.
If there's no other questions, I'm going to head out. You guys have a good night.
thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Casey. Police Department Chief,
Good evening.
good evening.
A couple things to talk about tonight. Number one would be on the list of bills when you get to it. Towards the bottom, my name is on there, and it's $100 behind that. A generous gentleman came into the station, I believe it was last week, and wrote a check to the police department for $100. So because he wanted to donate to the Cold Troop Toy Drive. So I turned that check over to Judy, and Judy then in turn wrote me a check for $100, which I cashed and then gave to Corporal Sola to give to Cold Troop's mother to buy some supplies and to also buy whatever toy she thought appropriate. She places stickers on all the toys. So I just wanted to bring that up so everyone knew that the $100 was a donation to the department, and then I turned it over, and then it was given back to me to give to them. So that's there. But we have a number of toys in the conference room again. This will be the third time we're basically empty in the conference room, which is great. The turnout for the toy drive has been phenomenal, and we're still working on how we're getting all the toys to the different hospitals and facilities. Corporal Sola participated in the Toys for Tots kickoff parade, at the Comfort Inn on December 5th. An officer assisted at the Denver tree lighting December 6th. So I will talk about the calls for service. This is the last meeting of the year, so there are still the numbers out for the month of December, but this will give you an idea of what we do or how busy we are. Calls for service for this month were 472 for East, 150 for Denver. The year-to-date totals for East is 5,589, and Denver 1,436. So the total calls for service, not including December, is 7,025. We have 19 reportable crashes this month, 116 for the year, including Denver's. We have 125 for the year. Non-reportable crashes was 23, 5 for Denver, 109 for the year for us, 31 for Denver, making a total of 190 so far this year. 56 citations. Our total for the year was, when I say our, I apologize, it's East. It's 447. Denver's was 137 for a total of 584. Warnings for the year, 96 for East, 46 for Denver, total of 142. We've had 40 on-view DUI arrests for East and 3 for Denver, totaling 43. And there have been 24 year-to-date DUI crashes in East and 2 in Denver for a total of 26. So obviously we're staying steady. These numbers are normal numbers. So moving on, the final MVR will be placed in car 3 this weekend. That was due to the car being at the body shop from the crash a few weeks ago. So that will be installed. I have to thank Officer Luongo for all his hard work. He actually, by doing the install of the mobile video recorders and the body cam equipment that went with them, saved the township thousands of dollars in install fees. So I have to say thank you for that. On a side note, I was working some street shifts yesterday and today, and I was utilizing the body cams and the MVRs, and the ease of use is tremendous, and I'm very glad we went with the GTAC product. So finally, I would ask for consideration of a motion for a conditional offer of employment to Rachel Odenwalt, starting at officer level 1, with a possible and projected start date of January 4th, 2021.
Okay, you're looking for a motion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
Any comments or questions? Okay, I hear none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
I have one more.
Okay.
For consideration of a motion for a conditional offer of employment to Michael Leitner. He will be starting at level 1 or officer level 1, again, with a possible start date of January 4th. That might be somewhat flexible to give time to his current employment. But I would ask for that motion.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Again, I will second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Chief,
That's all I have.
Will that get us up to total manpower?
It will. It'll take us to 16.
Okay. Good. Any questions of the chief?
Yeah, Chief, could I get the spelling of the last name of those 2 officers?
Yes, Odenwalt is Odenwalt, and Leitner is Lightner.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions of the chief? Okay, thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Zoning officer, is Tony back with us? I guess not. How are we gonna handle it? Penny, your mic's off.
He's on the phone.
Penny, your microphone is off.
Okay, he's
There you
on
go.
my phone. Can you guys hear him now?
Hello, everybody. You should have a copy of my report.
Mhm.
If you can hear me, I'll proceed as usual. November 2020, another busy month here in the township. In the zoning department, we had 27 applications, 23 permits issued, 8 in review and 15 for pickup. We did have 2 new single-family homes permitted in that month. We did have 8 certificates of occupancy or completions issued. We did have one zoning hearing in October. That gentleman asked for a continuance of that hearing till December. That was Mr. Quentin Root up here on Hill Road. He's looking for a home occupation in order to run a home occupation out of that residence there. And again, that was continued till December. November, we did have 3 cases. The first case was Translators College LLC was seeking an approval for an Airbnb or a VRBO. And they did come before the board, and that decision was denied. The second case for that month was a Miss Wendy Martz at 16 Audubon Circle, was looking for a home occupation, basically to run some sort of a personal training facility out of her home there. And she did come before the board, presented her case, and that decision was also denied on that case. The third case was a Mr. Anthony Garman of Whitmer Road, Reinholds, was seeking a special exception to substitute or replace an existing business with his business. He has is over on East Church Street outside of Reamstown. He does forklift repairs and sales, and he is currently under contract to purchase the old Richard Burkholder used car and automotive service garage there. It's literally across the street from where he was operating. And he did come before the board to ask for that special exception, and it was granted with conditions. Other than that, like I said, it was a pretty busy month in the township, but one thing I want to bring to the board's attention was that, as you know, township officials have been working very closely with the Shady Grove Campground and their engineering firm, ELA Group. And I'm happy to say they submitted their stormwater management plan on the first week of December, 12/4, and submitted that to the township engineer for review. It's currently being reviewed. With that being said, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them for you. Other than that, that would complete my report.
Any questions of Tony?
We do here at the fire hall.
Yes.
And this is a question for Tony from me for the fire department. We were curious if anything has been resolved that was been asked by our group many months ago about adding on to the permitting process for the commercial, industrial, and development things that resolved from the propane tank discussion we had moving into town. Has anything ever been done with that?
To date, we have not moved forward with that. No, not yet.
Okay, thank you.
I will add this, that I did, my assistant Arlene and I did create a list in the light industrial and commercial zone, all of the different projects that we have currently and what's been done here in the recent past. Have a list ready to go to the fire official to help bring all the 3 departments up to speed on the new construction, what those buildings are made out of, what they're housing, and to give you a better idea of what's happening in some of these light industrial and commercial district buildings. So we have created a list. We've got that ready to go. I know we were talking about the requirements for the fire officials. I do have a copy of that job description on my desk. And I believe we were going to reach out to you guys to sit down and discuss that further.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Chad.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for the inconvenience, but my internet is still down.
No. Okay, Roadmaster's report.
Okay, I'm going to take over that for Brett. As you know, he was out all night and all day today, so he is hopefully home sleeping. I do have his report in hand. So for the month of December, they took care of the trucks, interior and exterior. They do that on a weekly basis. They're cleaning all the storm drains as needed. It's been a very busy month because of all the leaves that have fallen off the trees. They were repairing signs as needed and generated a list of signs. They've updated quite a few signs on Hill Road, and also ordered 3 street name signs for the Quail Hollow development, as those signs were missing on the intersections. Roadside mowing with the boom mower started on Wednesday, December 2nd. This will be the last round of that this year. And they have also taken care of some overhanging tree limbs and branches on the roadway. They did allow the crew members to follow behind them to clean up all the small sticks and debris and also to blow off the roadways. A couple of the trucks went in for inspection at Garden Spot Framing. They had started preparing for the winter season, thank goodness, as it was needed yesterday. They got all the augers and spinners on the big trucks ready to work and ready for the winter applications. They made sure all their supplies were stocked. Got their crew members out so they know the routes and felt comfortable with the trucks and the jobs they had to do. They made sure all the trucks were stocked up with anything needed, hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, masks in every truck. They check inside and outside winter help to make sure everything is good with the extra help that they have. So we are covered with temporary snow plowing services. So they provided road maps and list of routes in each of their trucks for the winter season. They implemented the COVID-19 procedures, the more restrictive procedures that we put in place as of December 1st and for the remainder of 2020, and then they will take that into the new year as well. As you know, they had multiple crew members have been off with COVID-19 exposure and waiting on test results there. On the 4th, they had the crew fix three lights back at the shop that were not working. The dusk to dawn sensors were out. They replaced lights at the shop building with LED motion sensor lights. And as you know, they prepared all the trucks and equipment for the first major snowfall, which happened yesterday. So hats off to our entire road crew. I got many compliments. And a few areas where we still need to do some work on as well, but the majority of them are compliments on the job that they did. So hats off to the entire road crew. I know they were out all night, and they did an excellent job. So I want to thank them. That's it for the Roadmaster.
All right, question for you from Mrs. Mackley.
Yeah, hey, Penny.
Yes.
Is Brett driving? Was he driving last night?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
So how many guys do you have driving? I'm just curious because you hired a part-time driver? How many
We didn't
drivers?
hire. He's just temporary. He just fills in, he's just on an on-call basis.
He drives
He's just a relief snowplow driver.
Yeah, he drives a 550, the Ford.
The smaller one.
Yeah, the small dump truck. And then Brett was driving the 250 Ford truck going around helping out.
Did Brett get his CDL?
Brett,
Did
I
he get
think.
his CDL yet?
Doesn't
He
Brett
has
have
a CDL. I don't know if he has the right class that we required. He is in the process of getting that, but with COVID and all the places being shut down, that has been bumped back.
So
He has CDL to drive the trucks, but he doesn't have for the trailer behind a truck.
That's correct.
That's what we need. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So how many trucks do you have on the road at one time is my question. Do you know when you're out plowing like that?
Well, the 3 big trucks and then 2 small dumps, and then the pickup.
So you have 6 out at one time usually.
Yeah.
So you got everybody driving.
Mm-hmm.
We do. We have a lot of road miles to cover.
And did the temp help you out then last night or?
Yeah, that's how we had all them out.
Okay, so the other guys came in off of COVID?
Yes. What he did was they came in and got in their trucks. He opened the door, they walked and got in their trucks without going in the building and left. And when they were told if they have to go to the bathroom or get something to drink, they go home and get it and then get back on the truck. So they didn't.
A little bit more.
They worked individually is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That's
And
correct.
see, they were in contact with somebody that had COVID and they went and got a test, but we didn't get the test back yet.
Right, right. Okay, just wondered, so you have everybody out, so that's why you needed to hire a temp. And you do have the kid, Brett, he's actually driving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Rudy's the other ones. Rudy's helping us here again too, Andy Rudd. That he helped
Yeah,
us.
let me just add to that also. The other thing that's important there is they basically were only using their own equipment. And they requested, they not volunteered, of course, because they're getting paid, but yes, they volunteered and they specifically requested to come in to help out during the storm. We did not ask them to come in. We didn't require them to come in. They specifically asked.
Hey, the COVID boys. Is that what you're saying? The COVID boys?
The
Yeah,
COVID,
two.
the
Yeah.
COVID exposure individuals, yes.
Yeah.
And if I could also, we also, when it was ready to load their trucks up, they called Brett, and Brett's the one that got in and loaded up their trucks for them.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to touch any of that equipment. You know, they strictly only touched their trucks and that's it.
Yeah. They came and got in their trucks and then went out. That's it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
One more yet. Come on in a little, June. There you go. A little bit more yet. There you go.
Okay, June Kinback.
Hey, June.
How you doing?
Good.
is-
You?
Good. Drive John Deere.
That's a subcontractor.
Okay. What additional certifications has Brent gotten since he's been employed? Like he can't do herbicides and a lot of other things that we discussed back in the summer. What certifications has he acquired since then?
I can answer that. He has all those ready to go. Like I said, he, you know, back when we answered those before, he was looking into those and getting those lined up. COVID has prevented some of those and they've been delayed to the spring, but he does have them on his slate to receive all those ones that we went over before June.
So he hasn't gotten any yet?
That is correct.
Absolutely not. Okay. Why do we pay a mower to mow Old Homestead and Stony Point? Why don't our employees do that?
Well, that's something, you know, we have discussed that, June. You know, when I came here, that was one of my questions. Why do we subcontract the mowing out instead of doing it ourselves? Startup costs to get enough mowers together that would be needed, the trailer to haul them around, the time for our guys to do that. The board felt, you know, we would just keep things at the way they are, contracting the mowing out of all the different parks. But that is something I'm going to continually look into on a yearly basis and keep weighing those costs out as far as, you know, is that something we want to do? Do we want to purchase our own mowers? Do we want to invest in just having one person do that job throughout the summer? So that's clearly, that's one of the things I'm going to continually look at every year.
Well, I see that you have the money in the budget for that for 2021. So I'm wondering
To
why,
contract them out.
why are we not having our own people do that? If they cut the grass at the creek on Church Street, why can't they cut the grass in these other two locations?
Well, we would need to buy all new mowers for that. They're just using that new boom mower on that to do cut the sides of the roads. To actually mow all our parks would require different mowers. You know, and they're running probably around $15,000 a piece right now on the low end. So, and then you have the time to load the mower up on the trailer, drive it to the park, unload the mower. So it's those options that we want to consider every year and which would be the cheaper route for the township to go.
Well, did we consider it this year? Let's get that straightened out.
We did consider it and the board decided to stay with contracting the mowing out this year.
All three of you supervisors agreed to that? Alan, RC, and Jeff, you all agreed to that?
See, I don't know if, see, we had a 3 or 5 year contract, 3 or 4 year contract with the mowing outfit we had.
That is
So I
correct.
don't know if that ends this year or it ends next year. So
That's
we're
correct.
tied, we could be tied in with that contractor.
You are correct, Alan.
I'll be tied in with them for another year.
Shouldn't we know that? If you
We
put
we
it,
are.
Huh?
We are tied into them.
okay,
But it was discussed
But-
that
but-
when that contract ends, that's something we want to look at.
I hope
The reason
so.
we went this way, we figured it was cheaper to do it this way a couple years ago when we signed his multi-year contract with this outfit, so. Okay, June,
Okay, all right, thank you.
thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Got a financial administrator's report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Judy.
Hello, Judy.
Hi. Okay, so my reports start on page 27 of the meeting agenda. First, I'll discuss the budget status report. Looking at the revenue, we had a nice surprise in November tax collections. I had projected that from October to November, we would receive an additional 7,000 in property tax revenue, and the tax collector handed me a receipt for 105,000. So as you can see right now, we are over budget on real estate property taxes by over $20,000, and I thought initially that we would be short about 85,000. So we're doing good in that category. The next thing I'd like to discuss is the 01.351, the intergovernmental federal revenue. That is the CARES Act funding. As you can see, there is $2,725 there. We had nothing budgeted. Of course, we didn't know about COVID when we did the 2020 budget. We are expecting about another $135,000 in receipts for that line item. And at this point, I expect we will actually get it in 2021. I don't believe we'll get that receipt this year. Now, when we did the budget, we had anticipated getting that receipt this year. So it will be revenue that we don't have budgeted that we'll get in 2021. The next line for state capital, you can see we're about $190,000 short in that revenue line, and that is the growing greener funding. You'll see a corresponding expense line that is under budget. So that isn't a need to be concerned about that item because the expenses didn't come in either for that. The local government shared revenue is about 43,000 short, and that is because we are still waiting on Denver Borough's last receipt for police services. The December bill went out December 1st. Again, I don't know if we'll get that before the end of the year, and if we don't, it will be 2021 revenue. The subdivision zoning fees, that's specifically subdivision filing fees. All the other revenue lines for zoning are actually over budget, as you can imagine, with all the permits and those types of items that went through this year. And then the public safety line is specifically drug and alcohol reimbursements. With the courts closed, the revenue didn't come in like we thought it would. So going down to expenses, all the lines look really good. The ones that I was concerned about are ones that we previously discussed. If you'd like me to go over them again, I certainly can. But other than that, everything is at budget or under budget. We didn't spend the 210,000 from the I'm sorry, from the capital reserve fund like we thought we were going to. We also have to keep in mind that the line items from 01433 to 01438 and other years, they would have came out of the state liquid fuels fund, but in order to preserve that fund balance, because we know in the next couple of years we'll have a lot of road projects, that's why those 3 line items are over budget. And then if you go down to the bottom of the general fund, you can see that we are so far year to date, $373,000 in revenue over expenses. So that will be added to the general fund balance when we go into the 2021 budget. And then all the other funds are trending pretty much as we had anticipated. So unless anybody has any questions, I don't really have anything to say about them. And then I did attach balance sheets for you, which is where you can see what cash balances we have.
Chad has a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Chad. Unmute the mic.
There you go. Can you hear me? Mr. Mackley.
Judy, I have a question for you. I had raised 4 points at the last Zoom meeting and people didn't have the answers. So I'm passing it on to you to try and get some answers.
Sure.
The sale of Acme Market or super value to Acme Markets. I know the township received a check for in the neighborhood of $900,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe that was last year or the year prior to.
Right. Okay. And I guess this might be for you, but it's probably more for the supervisors, but it's kind of commingled. There was $500,000 of that money set aside for road repairs in 2020 and moving forward. Is that showing up in the budget somewhere?
Well, I believe that money was put into the capital reserve fund. So if you look at the balance sheets for the capital reserve funds, you'll see how large the fund balance is. Let me find it. Where's my balance sheets? Okay. They're hiding on me. Oh, here they are. Okay. So capital reserve fund balance is 2.237 million, 2,237,000. So we did not spend any of that money in 2020. We had initially had in the budget in 2020 to spend over $210,000, but that money was not spent. So then that will remain in fund balance and be available to spend in 2021 if it's needed.
So there is $500,000 of that money was set aside for road repairs. Is it marked that way?
It was set aside in the capital reserve fund. So it could be used for road repairs or any capital projects.
But, okay, but again, that was the wish of the board at the time that $500,000 be set aside for road repairs in 2020 and moving forward, not for anything else, just for road repairs.
That's
Okay.
correct.
I
That
don't
is
see
correct.
on the balance sheet that it was assigned to anything specific.
Okay.
I can ask our auditors about that to see if we need to reclassify that to make sure that it is earmarked for road projects.
All right, thank you. One of the other questions, we talked about liquid fuel funds, and I asked, I know part of your discussion, not yours, but part of the discussion with the budget was building a salt shed with liquid fuel funds, and I questioned Penny on that. And she said there's numerous things you could use money for. And yes, she is right. You can do that.
Yes, you can.
I guess my point is, why would you use general fund money for road repairs when you have liquid fuel funds that you get from the state? You know, and it's just, it's one of those questions that I just don't quite understand. You're getting basically free money, not free money, but free money from the state to do road repairs, and then you want to take tax money and use it for road repairs. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, liquid fuels money is tax money. It's just tax money that comes from a different source.
It's tax,
Now-
it's not East Cocalico tax money, it's the whole state.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
whole state
It's the
Everybody
gas
that
tax
runs-
money, yes.
participates in that. I understand.
So when we have our audit with the state auditor general, his comment has been that we are unusual in that we charge a lot of little expenses to our liquid fuels funds. Most townships, most other municipalities reserve that money for their large projects. It makes the audit more cumbersome to do what we do. And they had suggested that we might want to reserve that money for our large projects. It wasn't a finding, it was just a suggestion on their part. But we have been unusual compared to other municipalities in the state as far as charging small expenses to that liquid fuels fund.
Okay, all right. Well, I just wanted it out there that there, that there is money there and what the liquid fuel fund can be used for. So the last question I would have, the general fund balance.
Yes.
And the dime thing, but the comment that in 2020 we're going to be $368,000 to the good, some and change, and in 2021 we're going to be $389,000 in the hole. Does anybody remember those numbers in that comment? It was that. I mean, again, I can point it out on the tape where it was, but I'm just trying to figure out where's $600,000. How are we losing $600,000 in 1 year? I don't understand that. It was on page 13 of 18, and it was a 2020 estimate for the general fund balance.
Are you talking about the budget?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I listened to that tape on, I think it was November the 16th, I think it was. And it was on page 13 of 18. It's a general fund balance. It says general fund balance on page 13 of 18, the 2020 estimate. It says 368, and I couldn't remember all the other numbers, to the good in 2020, but 389,000 in the hole in 2021.
He's probably talking about the unencumbered monies. We're going to use that in 2021 to balance the budget. That would be my guess.
I don't remember the words unencumbered monies being in that part of the tape, Penny. I really don't.
Well, I may have just have called it a different thing. With my experience being in county government, I would just call it fund balance. But unencumbered monies, fund balance, it's basically the same thing. Revenues over expenses are going to roll over into fund balance at year end. So when we go to do our Budget comparisons, our numbers are back at 0. So we can't just have them disappear. They go from the income statement onto the balance sheet. And where they go on the balance sheet is in fund balance.
And I do understand that. And again, I get it. Just June had me a piece of paper, but this was there. That's a real budget. This was a worksheet that they were working on. I can't understand 368 to the good and 389 in the hole. I just don't understand the math of that. I'll give you the point if you want to go back and look and listen to the tape. You tell me at the next meeting if I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected. But I listened to it myself and I thought, my God, there's something wrong here. It was at 1 hour, 32 minutes and 50 seconds of that tape on the 16th of November. When you were talking about the 18 pages of the proposed budget. So it's obvious we can't get an answer tonight, but please look into that. It might have just been misstated, but it was clearly stated to the good and in the hole. So that's all the questions I have.
You said that was page 13 of 18?
That's what the tape said, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have that sheet in front of me. Give me a second. That's exactly what it is, what we just discussed, Mr. Mackley, that we are going to have that money left over at the end of 2020, and that's going to be rolled over because
Okay.
as it stands right now, the way we had the budget for 2021, we had a shortfall of $389,000 to $389,289.97 short. So we're using the unencumbered monies from 2020 to balance the budget.
Okay, so in other words, there's $368,000 this year that we didn't spend.
That's correct.
Next year, you'll be $20,000 in the hole.
$20,700.90.
Okay.
Yep.
But, and again, that's fine, Penny, I understand, but
Yep.
that unencumbered monies wasn't mentioned. So if that would have been said, I'd have understood. All right,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Penny, the question that's being asked, is this where they question things about the budget or does that come later?
Actually, when Judy gets done with her reports here, we would like to go through the budget and have any discussion on that so we can later on then in the meeting adopt the budget. So.
All right, well, wait, thank you.
Judy,
And
if
Penny,
you were done with your report.
I'm finished.
Okay,
Unless
so,
anybody has any questions.
no, but while we have Judy here, gentlemen, tonight is the night that we want to adopt the proposed budget. So you do have that in front of you. If there were any changes or anything that you would like to discuss. Bear in mind, the budget has been advertised and we can only make a 10% change in aggregate or a 25% change in any one major line item and still keep it under 10% aggregate. So with that being said, gentlemen, is there anything to the proposed budget that you want to talk about?
No, nothing from me.
Nothing from me.
Mr. Carrasco?
No, not at this point.
Okay. Well, all right then. So I guess we can move along with the meeting then. Mr. Chairman?
Okay.
Are you taking questions from the floor on the budget?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. In the November meeting on the tape, I don't remember hearing anything about the fire official that has crept into tonight's agenda. Is that something that was in that November meeting and has been added, or is that to be added next year?
Tonight's meeting is just to adopt a more or less a job description for the fire marshal. It's always been a paid position, and that's always been included in the budget.
Okay.
Harvey Aki's position. This is just more documentation of what it entails.
Yep.
Okay, so does that mean that it's going to be, if it's more scope of work, does that mean it's going to be more money?
I don't believe it's any more scope of work. We're just finally getting it, the actual job description, making it official. The 3 fire chiefs got together and noted what the fire marshal does and what they feel their duties are, and we're just getting that, making that official now in writing.
Okay, is that position going to be published for selection, or is that person already designated?
Mr. Rocky is the fire official.
Mr. Aki Senior is the fire official. Is he
That's
going to stay the fire official?
He is.
Mhm.
All right,
And we'll appoint them at a January meeting.
understood.
Mhm.
Is it still expected to have all 3 of the ambulance services receive a donation from the township?
All 3 fire companies. Yes.
Yeah, it's in the budget. Mhm.
Okay. Even though one is a for-profit business, it's expected to go ahead and still receive a donation from the township?
It's in the budget, yes.
Correct.
All right. And that particular fire company has resolved all of their issues to where they can go ahead and get checks now from the township as opposed to their financials being under question.
But we're working on that.
Okay, so you're going to give them a check before you get the financials clarified, right?
They're going to give them their annual donation like the board always gives them. If they request any more money, which they were requesting $96,000. That is off the table and not in the budget, and that will not be granted to them until things are set up the way the board wished.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, what say you? You were going to say something there.
Well, I think every year the Reamstown Fire Company and ambulances books are audited. You know, and as far as I know, there's nothing there that has not passed an audit. We're working with them to for clarity purposes to try and separate fire company finances from the ambulance company finances. They've indicated that QuickBooks will be put in place in January, and we're waiting to see and how that's going to come about.
So have they separated the contract between the ambulance at Wellspan and the fire company? Because that was commingled.
To be determined.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, list of bills.
Okay, treasurer's
Chad has a
report.
question. Chad's raising his hand.
Okay.
Hold on there. June has a question about budget if you're still on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead, come on up.
Okay, on page 101 for the East Cocalico 2021 Recreation Fund budget, the proposed budget includes $34,000 for capital purchase at Stony Point. What's that for? That was in the budget for this year.
Probably a play area in Stony Point, and maybe a multi-purpose field there too.
Probably.
Right. We're waiting for recommendations from the rec board.
Well, I looked through the minutes of the rec board and they haven't had a meeting since March. That's an awful long time.
No, they've met since March.
Well,
they've had meetings.
There aren't any online. Where are the minutes then? They're not online. Look for them.
They went several months without a meeting. They just recently had a meeting. Those minutes are not online because they are not approved till the next meeting, and the next meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday
Well,
at 7 o'clock.
If I could have looked it up, I would have, but well, it said no quorum, no quorum, no quorum.
That's correct. There
You
was
know,
no form.
COVID. So what is this 34,000? That was in the budget in 2020. Why is that in the budget again?
So that was part when Stony Point, when that big project was going on, the board had committed to donate $100,000 to that project. It was broken up over 3 years, $34,000 per year.
But I thought that wasn't gonna get done.
Correct, but it was in the budget, but that's correct. It did not get done. And that project was pulled. But
So
it was in the budget. It had already been an approved budget because the budget was approved the year before, June.
So is this the same 34,000 or is this an additional 34,000?
It was broken down to $34,000 for over a 3-year period, and that in 2019, and they decided to put an additional 34,000, part of that 100,000 in the budget, but then that project was shut down.
So
So
then why,
basically, it's the same 34,000.
It is the same.
so then why is it in the budget again?
Part of the reason
So
that
it
this-
wasn't spent.
So
Okay.
they have requested some equipment and stuff be put in there, and basketball courts and stuff, and that's why that money is in there for this year.
But it was in there last year. So that's my point. You didn't spend the money last year and you're putting it again, an additional 34,000 in.
Not an additional, the same 34,000.
And we don't know what it's for.
We do know what it's for.
What's it for?
They
was-
want,
Question.
they want some playground equipment put in there. They want a basketball court put in there. So I don't have that list in front of me, but they did give us a list of stuff that they would like to do out there. And the total came to $34,000. So that's what we put in the budget for them.
Okay, then what's the item below that? Capital purchase Reamstown Park. Where's Reamstown Park? I thought that was a private park. It's right below it.
What's that line item number?
It says need new line, capital purchase, I guess purchase, cap perch, Reamstown Park. It's item right below 04.454.70.0. $15,000 for Reamstown Park. Where is Reamstown Park? I thought it was a private park.
454.
Can you see this?
Oh, that's under the Parks and Recreation Fund?
Yeah, that's what I was reading from.
That's a different fund.
Well, that's where the 34,000 is. Oh, I didn't know if I was allowed to. I don't want to break any rules.
So, again, I don't have that list in front of me, June. The Park and Rec Board got together and gave a list of stuff that they would like done at different parks. And that was the dollar amount they asked us to put in the budget. I do not have that list in front of me, but I'd be happy to get that for you.
Where is the Reamstown Park?
That's at
Probably
the
the
pool.
basketball and
That's
the
correct.
tennis court outside the pool.
That's correct.
Why doesn't the pool cover that then?
The pool's inside the fence and the area outside the fence is the
Is the
park.
park.
Yeah,
So then what's the tennis court remodeling project?
that's proposed to fix that up too, because it needs a new net and stuff.
$16,000 for a new net?
No.
Are you
And
kidding
some
me?
other stuff. Well, if
You guys are putting this money in the budget and you don't even know what it is.
We do know what it is, June. We just don't have that information in front of us. I have
Okay,
that, the
okay.
Park and Rec. We can
if
get
they
that to her.
if they redo the basketball court at that area there, it'll cost about $30,000. Plus the pathway around that area needs to be redone. That's a couple $1,000s more. So this $31,000 will be used for the basketball court and the pathway. So it's okay.
All right, I wish we had a park over in Rose Hill, but we don't. The money was put into the general fund and we never got anything. All right, on page 4 of 12 of the 2021 general fund budget. There's a carryover unencumbered amount for the from the 2020 budget of $382,450. Why is that different from the amount that Doug was talking about?
It's not, it's the same thing.
But that wasn't the same amount.
Well, back in November and 16, she was using figures from that date, and now we're using figures that are more up to date and current.
Okay, on page 9 of 12. On the very bottom, roads, maintenance and repairs. $80,000. What's that for? It's at the very bottom.
That's for just general maintenance of roads. Our roadmaster asked us to put in $100,000 just to, we have money broken out for projects that the state liquid fuels is going to pay for. And then he wanted additional monies put in for other roads that weren't at an assigned project.
Right, you're aware that part of Meadowbrook is going to be torn up next year because of water and sewer.
Yeah, so we're not
Yes.
doing anything there next year.
That's correct.
Say what?
We're not planning to redo the roads in that next year because of the sewer and water going in there.
Now, the money was spent to oil and pitch Frederick and a couple of those other streets on that side of 897. That's also part of what's going to be ripped up. And that was just oiled and pitched. What kind of planning are we doing here in coordination?
Good question.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that was done last year, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's going to get ripped up again. That's a, oh, well,
No. Well, so the correlation between the water and sewer in the township at times wasn't too good.
well, I hope that improves. Since I'm on the water and sewer, I'm concerned. I bring this up every water and sewer meeting about what coordination are we doing with the township to make sure that the right hand knows what the left hand is doing.
Yes, I agree.
And I've been in communication with Scott Carl, and he's in agreement, and we are working well together. We did run through some issues with this past road surfacing job that was done this year with the sewer risers and the water risers. And, both him and I know that it's imperative that we work together on this stuff, June. So I appreciate your thoughts on that. And we're, Mr. Carl and I back exactly what you're saying that needs to take place.
Okay, on page 1 of 1, 2021 state liquid fuels budget. Road resurfacing projects, 295,000. What's that for?
So 295,000.
Right.
Okay, so we have approximately $285,000 is budgeted for Muddy Creek Village. And that's a full milling, paving, fabric and overlay. And then out of the general fund, I think we have budgeted an additional $55,000, approximately $55,000 to do an oil chip and fog seal in the Rose Hill development.
Could you specifically earmark that money for Rose Hill in there?
We did.
Yep.
Well, I don't see it there.
It's in the general fund.
Well, why wouldn't you take it out of the liquid fuel fund?
Because liquid fuels fund, there's only certain amount of money in there, and that's going to be for the Muddy Creek development and the salt shed.
Well, I'd like to know, I'd like to see exactly where you're going to take the money for Rose Hill out of, because I want to earmark that it's going to be done.
It is going to be done this year.
It will be
June.
done.
Where? Where is it in the budget? Please specifically tell me where it is in the budget.
Judy, can you help me out on that?
Well,
Because Alan, when I met with you back in September at Weaver's Market, you discussed an apology for the way I was treated at the previous meetings when Penny told me I could no longer talk. And you confirmed that one of my key requests was that Rose Hill Development would be resurfaced in 2021, not oil and chipped. You told me that you would take care of that and you would get the money in the budget for 2021. I want you to make good on that promise. Not oil and chip, resurfaced.
Resurfaced.
That's what you said.
Yes, I did. And I'm only one of the three. And I tried to get it resurfaced, but
You're the chairman. You're the chairman. Where is it? Where is it in the budget? In no place can I find in this budget where it says that Rose Hill will be resurfaced. I don't see anywhere where it'll even say oil and chipped.
Mr. Chairman, if I may make a comment here,
Yeah.
we do have the 55,000 budgeted for the oil fog chip and seal. I believe that project, I don't have the 2020 projects here. I think that Rose Hill overlay came in at about 135,000. So we would be looking at an additional $85,000. We do have a hefty amount budgeted for the salt shed. If that would come in under budget,
Well, you have
there would
240
be the opportunity to overlay Rose Hill. If that salt shed comes in under budget, that would leave us liquid fuels monies to do that.
You
If
have
not, we
200
would have to stick with the oil fog chip and seal.
You have 240,000 in your proposed budget for liquid fuels fund. And what are you planning that's going to cost? Less than,
Muddy Creek is 285.
no, not to Muddy Creek, the salt shed.
Budgeted at 240, is it?
I think so. That sounds
Yeah.
about correct, sir.
So you're thinking that it's going to cost less than that?
If we can get it, it's a big word, if we can get it to come in cheaper than that, and that would free up the money, then we could go ahead and do an overlay. But I also want to point out that, just to remind my board that we did hire a professional. We hired Ritu to come in and actually do a survey of our roads, and they gave you an annual road project. And they said in the Rose Hill development that the only thing needed at this time would be the oil chip with fog seal. And that there are other roads in the township that are in more desperate need.
You also told me that you sent an engineer out there when it was a supervisor that went out.
Well,
And
this was an engineer.
No.
We got Ritu out there. They're professionals. John Schick, this is his business. He works for Ritu. He's a road engineer, and it's his opinion that we asked for, and he's the one that gave us that. And he's the one that said that Rose Hill, with an oil chip and fog seal would be all that is needed at this time for that road. And that we have other roads in the township that desperately need more help.
That's not the engineer you told me.
John Schick from Ritu?
No,
No, he said Jim Caldwell, who works with Ritu.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the person that you said initially, John Schick. It was not him.
Well, the report came from John Schick. John Schick and Jim Caldwell work together hand in hand.
But that was after the fact. That was after the fact, because you told me John Schick did that. And then after the fact.
John Schick, I believe, wrote this report for us. No, the report is from Michael Nouse, actually.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
That was done after the fact, after I asked about it repeatedly at every meeting. I asked about us getting resurfaced. This money was put in the budget when the budget was done in 2019, there was money put in the budget in 2020 to resurface, not oil and chip, to resurface Rose Hill. If that money was put in the budget and was never spent, where did it go?
It's still there, and that's what's being carried over into next year.
Where is it in the budget? Show me exactly where it is, because I want to know exactly where you have it in the budget.
It's in the state, it's carryover in the state liquid fuels fund.
No, but specifically earmarked for Rose Hill. Where is it?
It's not specifically earmarked. It's in that line 01438.
Why
It's
can't,
55,000 for Rose Hill and 25,000 for other miscellaneous projects.
okay, well, you just broke it down. So could you please break it down in the budget?
If that is the board's pleasure.
And that
certainly.
is 55,000. That's not enough for resurfacing that Alan promised me.
Well,
Alan promised me.
I did.
You did,
Yeah,
and now you're reneging on it. Is that correct?
I'd do it, but the other two don't want to do it.
All right,
I-
all right. Let me,
Alan, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I take exception to that comment.
Hmm.
That was put in the budget in 2019 when we put together a strategic plan to start taking a look at what roads had to start being
Mhm.
looked at when we started in 2018. In 2019, we'd had 3 specific road projects on the books.
Mhm.
Rose Hill was one of the 3 projects.
Hmm.
They were slated for 2020. In 2020, there were numerous conversations with these 3 board members, and it was decided that Rose Hill was not going to get done. And I was not one of the individuals who said that. So I take full exception to what you just said, Alan. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You didn't.
so why can't we get it back in the budget? Alan, if you promised it and RC did not, say no to it. I would like to know why it cannot be specifically earmarked in the budget for it to be resurfaced, not oiled and chipped. Our roads have all been checked with the water and sewer lines. There are no problems based on what exams were done. There's no reason why our streets, have you looked at those specific huge patches that are in our development? There's 5 of them.
Mhm.
When did
they
you,
were-
when did you look at it?
A couple of months ago, I drove through it. That was done the year before. It was,
That's right.
and the tar was not of good quality, so the stones didn't adhere like they should have.
There were street sweep, my 88-year-old neighbor was sweeping up those huge rocks and putting them in buckets. That should not have happened.
No, I agree.
Street sweepers came through there twice and there's still tons of rocks there in
Mhm.
all those patches, and all those rocks should not still be there. Maybe they got scooped up with this latest plow.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
that
you
when that
promised,
was done, the tar they used was not good.
well, then let's fix it. Let's fix it. You said you would promise me you would do it. RC did not say he would not do it. So that's 2 against, I don't know what. Can we please get this earmarked in the budget and get it done next year? Resurfaced, not oil and chip, resurfaced.
Well, I think it's relative to note that to RC's point about strategic plans and the roads, I asked about that earlier in the year several times, where this is, where's this plan of the developments to be done, and I haven't seen it. I don't know where that is. You know, I've been left scratching my head too, where this has been prioritized and where it is in writing. I haven't seen it.
It
So,
was, Jeff, it was prioritized in writing by being in the budget.
well,
Thank-
you said multi-years of future paving projects. It was all prioritized out and listed. Where
Scott,
where is
that
this? What was projected for 2020 or 2021? You know,
Well, that's what Scott was working on when Penny came on board. That should have been part of the transition plan to Penny.
what happened to that?
It left
I
with
don't
Scott.
have access to Scott's office. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't know where it is either. So, you know,
I never
I-
received that.
But the point is that was on the budget. Realistically, that was on the budget for this year. And it was decided that it was not on the budget for this year because COVID was the excuse. And because quite frankly, we decided that trying to save money was more important than looking at investments.
and you voted for that, right?
Voted for what, Jeff?
You voted to approve the bids and reject the other one.
Considering how many times you said Rose Hill was not needed and came to Allen in multiple meetings and pressed and pressed and pressed.
And we were looking at what, 20, 25, 30% revenue shortfalls this year.
How many times did you?
I didn't
how-
hear anybody suggest we dip into capital reserves to do that.
How many times did you press that we not do Rose Hill? Actually, initially, you didn't want to do any roads, I believe.
It was discussed several times about what's the result of the economic shortfall we were going to have. I don't remember anybody saying, let's dip into capital reserves to do these.
Isn't that what it's for?
Well, nobody suggested that to me.
Jeff,
Sure.
did I not hear you on tape,
Mhm.
say, let's drop Rose Hill? And that is when we heard who's going to take care of June. We all heard you say that. Now, that's the end of the conversation. We heard you say it. Let's drop Rose Hill. And the next statement was, who's going to take care of June? And we can lead you to that point if you haven't already had it pointed out to you that that is what you, Jeff Mitchell, said.
Mhm.
End of conversation.
You know, we, in preparation for the budgeting process, we did have an engineer look at multiple development roads to make suggestions to us what needed to be done. Because I haven't seen any plan going forward of what developments go. The only thing that I think we've all been in agreement of is when the water lines, sewer lines get dug up, that will follow through in future years. So, you know, when it comes down to prioritizing what gets done, you know, I'm leaving that to the engineers to tell us. Because certain people, you know, want things done according to their plan, you know, I'm here to follow what the engineers are telling me, where the priorities need to be. So the engineer's report, as Penny stated earlier, calls for oil and chip in Rose Hill and Muddy Creek with the road surface that as it is there, it needs to be milled and blacktopped. You know, what am I to do when an engineer gives you a professional opinion, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, what can be put off, what can't be put off? During our budget conversations, I don't remember anybody saying, let's dip into capital reserves and do these developments and move forward. So, you know, I'm following the engineer's guidelines that we paid for. He didn't even go through all the roads in the township. He just did certain developments. This is here for anybody to look at. I just pulled it out of my file here. We can provide that, or I can even read it now if you want to know what it says.
What was the date of the document, Jeff?
It's October 30th.
Okay. October 30th of this year.
Yeah, Michael Naus is the
Okay.
engineer.
Because Alan, last year, we were told those 3 projects needed to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scott told us that.
So fundamentally, I never talked to John Schick. My fundamental question to him is, what was the fundamental change in the conditions that resulted in roads needing to be done last year, but all of a sudden they don't need to be done this year? Because, and who came to the conclusion last year they needed to be done, and yet this year they don't need to be done. It's just very inconsistent engineering data.
Well, I think yet last year's projects were decided by the previous roadmaster. And it's my understanding that him and Mr. Russell had, like you stated, Mr. Carrasco, a 5-year plan or whatever to get all the developments done first, so they could tackle the outlining roads. But with Mr. Russell gone and the previous roadmaster gone, that's when we brought Ratu in to give a professional opinion. They drove the roads and it did an evaluation on them. And then they handed us this October 30th annual report. Rose Hill Development was one they looked at, and their exact what they say exactly in this report. The streets within this development have a good road profile, minimal utility cuts, and exhibit areas of transverse and block cracking. It is recommended that a surface treatment be applied to these streets within the next 2 years to seal and preserve them. The surface treatments evaluated in the budgetary cost estimate include oil and chip with a fog seal or microsurface.
But you were there, Penny, when this money was put in the budget to resurface Rose Hill for this year. I was told by Alan back in April, the excuse was the COVID excuse. That's a blanket excuse for so many things. That's what I was told because you were afraid you weren't going to get the liquid fuel fund money.
Yeah,
But
that
you
was
did.
that's why I went along with them not doing it.
But you got it. You
Yeah.
got plenty of money. We've got almost $1 million just from transfer fees alone in a bank account, right? You promised me, Alan, that this would be resurfaced. Why am I being singled out?
June, you're not being singled out. We're trying
Well,
to
yeah,
follow our
I
professionals'
beg to differ with
opinion.
you. I beg to differ with you because it was said in an audible meeting, who is going to deal with me? And that was said. And it was heard by many people, and it can still be heard by anyone who listens to the meeting.
Mhm.
Why am I being singled out? Why is Rose Hill being singled out? Why is our project, don't you care about the infrastructure of this township? You people talk about it at a lot of the meetings.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And if you remember, I got this letter. Can you see it? It says in this letter, a leader should embrace the idea that he or she is a public servant, a person who is willing to listen to all points of view, who works well with a team, who makes decisions based on sound judgments. Does any of this sound familiar to somebody? And most importantly, is someone who recognizes that he or she is answerable to the people who place them in office. To that end, I pledge that I will turn down healthcare benefits, which is great, while being a supervisor. I pledge to be approachable and open to comment or criticism by any resident of the township. If elected, every decision that I make will be prefaced by the question, is this in the best interest of the taxpayers of East Cocalico Township? Well, you have many taxpayers that live in Rose Hill.
Mhm.
We all pay our taxes. I don't know that many of those homes are not lived in with people that own the houses. And I feel that we should be taken care of just like any other development. I don't think you want our infrastructure to decay, and it needs to be resurfaced. That report from Red 2 was 9 months, 10 months after the fact when it was put in the budget. Alan, you promised it to me, and RC never said that it wouldn't be done. I feel that you two supervisors should vote on this and get this back in the budget. And I want it specifically earmarked in the budget. There's no reason why it can't be. Judy just said it. What's your answer?
I'll put it in to resurface.
How much? $160,000 was put in for it to be resurfaced for 2020. You've got almost $1 million in the fund for the transfer fees. I'm not asking for anything out of the ordinary. This was promised to me and promised to us, and it should be done.
Penny, how much, or Penny? or
That's
Judy,
too much, that's too much of a change in aggregate for the budget. If the
I was
board,
gonna ask. I
if
was
the
gonna ask
board
how-
wants, if the board wants to do that project, then it has to come out of capital reserve. It is
Yeah.
not in the budget, cannot be put into the budget. It
Yeah.
changes the aggregate, and that's already been advertised.
Well,
So
then
if
it
it-
should
if
be
How
advertised.
much would it cost out of the,
It can't be re-advertised. We have to, tonight, we have to adopt the budget, June.
Penny, it's not as if I didn't bring this up at every meeting. It's
June.
not a new question. It's not a new question.
No, it's not. So we were just trying to tell you what our professional engineer has suggested to us, that Rose Hill
You
has
said
a
that
good roadway profile and just to microsurface that road.
was in October. That was in October of this year.
That's
I have
correct.
asked at every supervisors meeting that I have attended, whether it was COVID or not, why we can't get our development resurfaced. And you know that, because you told me I couldn't talk about it anymore, correct? Is that correct? You told me I could not speak about it anymore. And Alan, you confirmed it. And the only one who really apologized to me was RC, and he didn't say it.
Mhm.
Is that correct, Penny? Is that correct, Penny?
June, I meant.
Is that
I
correct,
didn't tell-
Penny? Yes or no? Yes or no? You told me I couldn't speak about it anymore. That delayed all this from getting done all along. Did you say that, Penny? Did you
I
tell me?
said that, I said the subject was closed. I did not tell you couldn't speak.
Yeah, well, you better listen to what you said.
Okay, well then, if that's what I said, my apologies. So,
Yeah, but that's why this didn't get done. Because you wouldn't let me talk about
Mr.
it.
Chairman, I'm not going to argue
I'm not
with this, and the budget is as set.
arguing, I'm just stating the facts.
You know, if you gentlemen, like I said, you know, we cannot change the budget. That would be more than a 10% in aggregate, and that can't be done. If you want to do a complete overlay on this, it has to come out of capital reserve. So,
And so be it. Where is it going to be in the capital reserve budget?
so.
It won't be in the budget. We just will do it next year and take it out of the capital reserve.
I want to see specifically where that's going to be earmarked. There has to be some way. Judy, where does that go? Where's Judy? She's still on the call?
I'm here.
Okay, where can that be earmarked specifically in the capital budget?
Well, like Penny said, I mean, to put it in the budget, to change the expenses, it
We
would need to be
can't.
re-advertised, and then
And
we
we don't
wouldn't
have
be able to
time.
approve it by year end.
No, we don't have
Which
time
means
for that.
No money would be able to be spent.
You've got to do it somehow because Alan and RC agree with me.
So, okay, well, I'm just saying it can't be officially put into the budget. They can tell you it's going to be done, and they can tell you they will take it out of the capital reserve, but it cannot be put into the budget at this point in time. The budget has to be advertised. It has to be on public review for at least 20 days before it's adopted, and that does not give us enough time before the end of the year. So our
Well, then-
budget must be adopted as is. So you're
Then-
just going to have to take the word of the board that they will consider that. I don't know that they even agreed to it. You would have to, you know, I hear Alan saying that he will do it. I haven't heard from the other two yet, if they're willing to pull that money out of capital reserve. So, but we can't change the budget. The budget is as it is.
Then why was this meeting so late in the year that you couldn't change the budget?
The board, we had a budget meeting. When was that? The 16th of November, when all the projects were discussed, and the two projects that were listed, the Muddy Creek project for $285,000, the salt shed for $240,000, and the oil fog and chip seal for Rose Hill was decided at that meeting. So, and there was no public present at that
I
meeting.
believe it was taken out of the meeting. It was taken out of the budget by Mr. Mitchell. It was in the audio tape of the budget meeting. And I'm sure there's several people here that can confirm that they heard that. And it was
Taken out to mean what?
I don't know, you said it. You tell me.
It was, you know, these projects haven't gone out for bid yet. These are only estimates of what they're going to be. You know, we have, like I said, I've got the engineer's report. In order to get Rose Hill identified, he says an oil and chip could be done there to.
Yeah, you've already said all of that. My
Right.
point is, where is it going to be specifically put in the budget? You're the one that said, take Rose Hill out. That was in an audio tape. And you said, who's going to deal with June? That was in an audio tape of the budget. Now, you people took it out, and we didn't have any opportunity to discuss this after that. So I want to know where it's going to be specifically put in the budget. And Judy, I'm asking you that.
Mr. Chairman, we've already answered that question.
Oh.
I don't know how to answer it any differently.
Well, there wasn't enough time given for us to question this. This budget is here now.
Also, June, last year, it was in the budget and we didn't do it.
Right.
So if we tell you we're gonna do it, we'll have money, we can do it without it being, we can use money in the, without having it showed up specifically in the budget.
But I was told that for this year and it didn't happen. You
Yeah,
people told me you were gonna have it repaved and you didn't do it. So why should I believe that it's gonna happen next year? Can you answer that?
it's up to me, it'll be repaved next year.
So what guarantee? I have two people, there's two supervisors saying it will be done. Is that gonna confirm it, that it will be done?
If two of us agree, it will be done, yes.
Okay, you're saying that you will guarantee me that it will be repaved, not oiled and chipped next year, 2021. Alan,
If RC agrees, it'll be repaved.
Alan, I'm asking you, yes or no?
If I can get it done, I'll get it done, yes.
No, I want a yes or no answer because this is what I was told all this year, 2020. I was told this all year until I was told I wasn't allowed to talk about it anymore. Could you please commit, yes or no, that Rose Hill, and I'm sorry that this is taking so long, but you guys are making this take so long. I want a yes or no answer. Please make a motion that Rose Hill will be resurfaced in 2021. Please. You can do that.
Can I do that? Penny?
I'm not in favor of that.
No, I know you're not in favor of it.
No, I'm not.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
RC,
The only way, and it was never discussed to take capital reserve money to pay for these road projects. The board agreed that the salt shed was necessary. It's been in the budget for years to get that done. It was part of the board's agreement that this should be done. Stop budgeting it and get it done in 2021. Muddy Creek Road, Muddy Creek development was prioritized by the engineering that it had to be blacktopped. There was not enough extra, correct me if I'm wrong, Judy, money without getting into the capital reserve to blacktop Rose Hill as well.
That's correct, yes.
We put in the budget this year, 2020, to resurface Rose Hill.
Without dipping into the capital reserve fund, there was not enough money there to do all three projects, meaning resurfacing Rose Hill.
You have a carryover in your 2021 general fund budget of 382,000.
We didn't know fully what the amount was. Yeah, there was money there.
Regardless, Alan, Alan, please make a motion to say that you will.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask that you not commit. What I will say at this point in time is the way Ms. Kinback was treated was absolutely wrong by this township, this board, and myself. And to that, we owe her a big apology. But that being said, we have a professional opinion from our engineer on what road projects need to be done and the seriousness of other roads in our township. And I just urge you, we also have stormwater drains and sewers that need to be taken care of. And I just ask you that you please spend our money wisely. You have a professional opinion in front of you of what needs to be done. That is in the budget to do that. I believe a huge apology is owed to Ms. Kinback. You know, things were said that should not have been said. Promises were made that should have not been made. And I think at this point in time, let's not make that same mistake again. If we can't commit to a resurface, let's not commit to it. let's commit to what's in the budget and go from there. Ms. Kinback, I owe you an apology. This board owes you apology, not RC. I'll let him out, but Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Fry, we do. And I do apologize for that. Mistakes were made. Things were said that should not have been said, but let's learn from those mistakes and move forward. Let's go off of what our professionals are telling us and follow what we have in our budget.
Penny,
That's what I ask of you as your manager.
Penny, I just, for clarification, did I not hear you say earlier, or someone say earlier, you have $500,000 that the previous board had allocated to road repairs, but
Yes.
$500,000 was moved to the general fund?
No, the capital reserve fund.
Okay, but so now you moved 500.
No. Your husband asked us where that real estate transfer money went from Acme. 500,000 of that real estate transfer money went into the capital reserve and was earmarked for road projects. That was in one of Liz's notes. I do recall her telling me that, as far as it being on the computer. Liz did not use the computer to the full advantage of how it could be used. She was very old school and did things a lot of pen and paper. But, 500,000 of that money was earmarked for road projects in the capital reserve.
Okay, but then
That
don't
much
say,
I do know.
don't say you don't have it. It was just moved to a different fund.
That's right.
So I'm
That's
not
correct.
saying that you don't have.
It's in the capital reserve fund.
Okay, but
All I'm saying is we can't, Miss Kinback would like us to specifically put it in the budget, and we cannot do that because the budget's been advertised. The budget must be adopted before the year's end, and there's not enough time to make a significant change like that. We cannot meet our advertising requirements. I'm just asking this board not to commit to something that it might not possibly happen, given our past mistakes and how upset we made a resident. Let's not do that again. That's what I'm asking.
okay,
I'm asking them to follow our professional engineers' recommendations.
But my point to bring this whole thing, to bring that money up, was that there was money allocated, clearly allocated.
Yes, that's correct.
Clearly, and it's been moved. So don't say you don't have money. Don't say
Well, we're
it.
not saying that. We're not saying that. I'm
Not
saying I
saying
can't put it into the budget. I can't change the budget at this point.
Understand.
Okay.
But there's
Yeah,
money.
the money is in capital reserve. Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking for Chairman Fry to make a motion that Rose Hill will be resurfaced in 2021. That's the end of my question.
Thank you.
I'm not done.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
I'm asking you, Alan, to please make a motion to have a vote on putting Rose Hill on the books for next year to be resurfaced and to use the money from capital. Will you please make that motion? To back up your promises to have this resurfaced.
Okay. I can make that motion, can I?
Okay,
You're the chairman. You can make any motion you would like to make, sir.
Okay. I'll make a motion. We take money out of the capital reserve to resurface Rose Hill
in 2021.
in 2021.
I'll second that, Alan.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
I'm a no on that, Alan.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So noted.
Okay.
Sorry, June. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. Okay, Alan, the list of bills.
Mhm.
The general fund of 119,511.46. a light fund of $13,012.81 for a total of $132,524.27. Is there any questions?
Mr. Weaver has a question.
Mr. Mackley, I believe.
Jeff, on the list of bills.
Yes.
Foremost promotions for $2,145. What is that for? Just curious.
Foremost. What was the check number on that? I don't see it right away.
0342.
342.
If I may,
Yes, I figured it was something for the police, but
foremost promotions, I believe. What was the amount? I apologize.
$2,145.90.
I believe that was items we purchased for
Halloween.
Yeah, for crime prevention, for National Night Out,
Yeah.
To give things to the kids and some other items.
Yeah,
That's what I figured, Chief. I just wanted to verify. Thank you.
that's what I remembered as well.
Okay, and how about down near the bottom of that first page, check number 60365, Whitmer Public Safety Group, $4,379.
That's ammunition.
Okay, thank you. On the back of the, well, my back of the page would be the second page, 60389, check number Kilmer Insurance Agency. I mean, I know that's pretty obvious what it's for, but what kind of insurance was that for, Jeff? Do you know?
Yeah, that's for vehicles. I think, don't they have our
Yeah, they do.
our liability and general liability?
Judy, can you jump in on that specific invoice?
Yes, that invoice was for the tax collector's bond.
Oh,
Ooh.
For Kilmer?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
what's he bonded at for $2,200? I'm just curious.
$3 million.
All right. And the last one is office, yeah, I can't even speak. Office basics, $3,739. What's that? Half a year's supply of paper or what? the heck? A lot of money.
That's the chief again.
There was, we came in under budget on other operating supplies.
Okay.
We had spoken about beginning to think about, renovating the conference room, making it into more of a training room to better utilize that space.
And I saw the results of that. It looks nice.
Yes, so that is mostly for the tables.
Right. Well, the chairs are nice too. I gotta give it to them.
And some of the regular office supplies, we usually set ourselves up for the beginning of the year where we don't have to make a purchase directly at the beginning of the year for office supplies.
All righty.
Okay, and anybody else? If
I make
not,
a
I make a
motion.
motion to approve the list of bills as presented.
I'll second it. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. MS4 discussion.
Yes, basically, not a whole lot to report. The permitting for the stream bank restoration project by the township building, the permit application's been completed. I just need to get a signature on one of the forms, and it'll be mailed off to Conservation District tomorrow.
You need my signature tomorrow.
I think it's my signature. I'm going into the office tomorrow.
Actually, I went
good.
I reread that. I think it actually should be Alan that should sign.
Okay, all right, well,
Give me a call when you need me.
I can deliver it to your house if you want.
Okay, it doesn't, okay.
All right, I'll check in with you tomorrow on that.
Okay, good. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Any questions of Ken? Thank you, Ken. Effort Rec Center Pool Management Agreement. I'd like to table that to the next meeting if rest
Yep.
both of you that don't mind.
That's good. That's fine. Yeah, because I did not have all the information back yet from Mr. Summers.
Okay. New business. We have a
I have a
bunch of
question.
resolutions. Yes.
On the rec center, the items or the pool from pool
Mhm.
report from Effort to Rec. In the information you're requesting in, are you requesting the last 3 years incident reports for both enclosed and community pools?
I requested the last 2 years' reports, and I can tell you that Mr. Summers has stated that he will give me a summary of the incidents. I will not be receiving the actual reports. But he said he would provide me with a summary report of the incidents over the
Thank you.
last 2 years.
Is
I have
it,
not yet received those, so.
Penny?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure who asked the question. Does it help also? I think one of the things we did receive from them was the EAP, the Emergency Action
Yeah.
Plan, right?
Mhm.
We
Penny?
did, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
We
not sure
did.
who asked the question, but
So,
we do
Mr.
have that also, if that
that's
helps.
correct. That's correct. We did receive that. And I sent you gentlemen, as far as what the $710 a day covers, the amount of
Mhm.
lifeguards, that was in an email that you all
Mhm.
received. So,
Yep.
Did you, one last question.
sure.
Did, since we have the pool people on the call tonight, are those pool guards going to be pool guards that used to work at Reamstown?
Yes.
Na-
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an agreement from Effort to Rec to reuse your pool
Yes.
guards.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah. Mhm. That was, I wouldn't have went with them. Personally, I wouldn't have went with them if they didn't have regards, so,
You didn't go with them.
no, we're still looking at it. Okay, any other questions? Okay, new business. We have a bunch of resolutions here. Resolution 2020-11, motion to adopt
That's
resolution.
2010.
Oh, 2010. I have 1111 here, sorry. 2000, resolution 2010, motion to adopt resolution 2020-11, authorize certain general, no?
Did I, hold on, let me bring up the motions. Did I have something wrong here? Hold on. First one I have is a motion to adopt resolution 2010
Mm-hmm.
to adopt resolution, a Univest Bank and Trust Company corporate authorization naming the current East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisors to act as the authorized agents and signers on all money market accounts.
Okay, I want you read them because what I have is not the same.
Okay, I will. So that's the
Okay, I
first
have-
motion.
Yeah, I have the one Alan has.
Okay, my apologies. I did send you a corrected one, so
I have the wrong one, sorry.
that's okay. Not an issue. I'll read them off to you. First resolution, like I said, is to adopt resolution 20-10, a Univest Bank and Trust Company corporate authorization naming the current East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisors to act as the authorized agents and signers on all money market accounts.
Okay, I'll make that motion. I need a second.
I will second that, Alan.
Okay, any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no, motion carried. Thank you.
Penny, I'm
Resol-
sorry. I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I got it. Yeah, I got it here. You sent the amended one.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
did. Second resolution is to adopt resolution 2020-11, authorizing certain general fund unencumbered monies remaining from the 2020 budget in the amount of $382,450 be carried forward to the 2021 general fund budget.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next motion would be to adopt resolution 2020-12, setting the 2021 tax rates for East Cocalico Township.
Which will be 1.768 mils,
Yeah.
up 2%, right?
That is correct.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
I have a question.
Yes,
What's the justification for the 2% increase?
balance the budget.
But you've got a $300,000 surplus.
Which is needed to balance the budget.
We were, this, Judy, you still here?
I'm here.
This will, how much will this tax increase create? Was it $30-some-thousand?
Let me see.
It's $3.50. It'll cost the taxpayers $3.50 per $100,000 of assessed value.
Yes, it's just, it will generate revenue of just under $36,000.
And that'll help balance the budget.
Right, if we would have did a tax increase large enough to cover the deficit, it would have been over 19%.
Why the difference? I don't get the difference between 19 and 2%. Is it because you're not looking out at 5 years and you're not looking at a 5-year plan, or is this just a, what's your reasoning, Mr. Mitchell? I don't get it.
My reason is the same as what we discussed before, Ralph. We have labor contracts in place that have 2 to 3% per year increases. It takes more revenue to handle that. Over in past years, I saw no tax increase, but yet payrolls keep going up and costs keep going up. I looked at that as we were living off of the increase in the tax base. So I think it's relative to have an increase to signify a little bit what's going on as far as what our expenses are in the township. And as you've heard, we also have residents that are demanding roads be improved. We've been talked earlier about a capital improvement project on 272 at an intersection. Things need to be done. People are asking for these improvements to be made in the township. I think it sends the wrong message to say we can operate year to year on the same kind of money base.
All right, Mr. Carrasco, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on this were, quite frankly, I agree with some of what Jeff said, but I look at it a little bit differently. I prefer to see a 4 or 5. I prefer to see a strategic plan and then work the numbers backwards. Okay. What I had said previously, and I'm still a firm believer that I think we've lost some of the strategic visibility. What I get a little concerned about is we're looking 12 months out right now. I didn't want a tax increase, but I at least wanted the 2%, not the 4% we had thought of that was proposed before. I wanted the 2% only in terms of using that as a base number to keep up with the rate of inflation for now. Until we really look at a 5-year projection and then work those numbers backwards to see where are we going to be, what is the tax increases we would need based off of companies coming off of LERTA, new businesses coming in the future, what the growth implications are. And I'm still frankly a little nervous and concerned. I don't have that visibility right now.
Mr. Fry, what are your thoughts?
I agreed with the 2% because that roughly is inflation. I concur with Mr. RC, and we need to look again at the strategic plan. This past year was very tumultuous, and we have a new president down in Washington next year, so I think next year would be good to reevaluate our long-term plans.
And
Plus-
we did discuss that, Mr. Chairman. We
Yeah,
do
we
have
did.
the strategic plan that Mr. Carrasco put together, and we did discuss that, the need for bringing that back on the table as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like the 2% tax. I'll just put it out there. I haven't seen the or I haven't seen a pay increase in years personally. So I'm sorry. I am terribly opposed to it.
Well, our police are getting a 2 3/4% increase every year. The road crew gets 2.5%. So
As long as the township supervisor and the assistant supervisor do not see any of that, I'm fine with that. The working staff in the streets, awesome. Thank you.
I don't get any of it because our
No,
No.
I said the township manager and her assistant, as long as they don't see a bit of it, the folks in the street, fine.
Okay, thank you.
And we are not, both my assistant and myself are told the board we do not wish to have an increase. Mr.
You have a hand up by Chad.
Okay, thank you.
We saw that. I was making a remark to you.
Chad.
All right, June, I believe.
The 2% increase with so many people being affected by COVID regarding them losing their jobs, or now because of the recent restrictions again as to what businesses can be open, that people are hurting. The county is not increasing taxes. That's been published. How much money was spent in legal fees due to the firing of Chris Flory? $50,000, I was told. You're raising the taxes to generate 36,000. How do you justify that?
We justified to balance the budget.
No, that's not what I'm asking. We spent over $50,000 in legal fees. No,
Seriously. About 10 hours.
well, I still don't agree with you increasing the taxes. There's too many people hurting. And I don't think that's right, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Jim.
I don't want to take the brunt of it, asking for the roads to be resurfaced.
No, you won't.
I'm not the reason that the taxes are going up. This money was put in the budget this year, was not spent. Thank you.
I think you have a motion on the table, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. I made that motion. Do you have a second on that?
If there isn't one, I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next resolution would be resolution number 2020-13. It's a motion to adopt resolution 2020-13, the 2021 budgets for East Cocalico Township.
I'll make that motion. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Any comments, any further comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
I think you can take over now, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Fire official job description. Motion B to adopt the fire official job description as presented.
And that was written by your 3 fire chiefs.
I have a
Mhm.
question.
Yes.
How does this job description fit with the consultants program that you all requested be brought into the picture last meeting? Do you all remember that?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't think it does it?
And that's 2 separate things.
Mm-hmm.
So having a full-time fire professional does not fit into the picture of what the fire consultant has for the big picture for this township. Does not compute.
They're 2 different things.
Exactly.
I think Ralph, we've had somebody in that role for quite a while. I don't know how many years Harvey's done that. Alan, maybe you have a
I have no
reference
idea.
point there.
Maybe Doug knows how long. I don't know. But
Okay.
he's been there as long as I've been here. It's over
Yeah,
15 years.
maybe Tony has a reference to that too, how he's worked with him. So I don't know that this is any change from the past. It's just clarifying what the job is, I guess.
Mhm.
Very well.
Chad.
Yeah, I'll comment on that a little bit for Ralph. There is actually going to be some changes in what I think Harvey was doing and what is implemented here. This will actually bring us into the 21st century with some of the things that needs to happen there. There'll be some reporting, some other things that need to happen and all that. And that has not ever been done in the past. So there will be some changes to that. So I think a lot of add on to what he, I think, as I know it, does today.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments? Okay, I'll make the motion
to adopt the
our
job
official
description
job
as
description as
presented.
presented. Yeah.
Were you all right with
Second?
that, RC?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I just, the only thing I question is, it says job description. It's kind of a minor item, but I see it more as kind of roles and responsibilities and duties.
Mhm.
So,
We can make that correction. Just
Yeah,
throw in
that-
as amended at the end of your motion there.
As amended. Okay.
yeah, I just think it's more reflective if it's a role, roles,
The
duties,
roles, yes, I agree.
responsibilities.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yep, that sounds good.
Fair enough.
You seconded, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay.
That
All in
is,
favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
I missed
Chief,
it.
did you want to say something?
Chad had his hand up.
Go ahead first. Go ahead. Doug wants to chime in. Go ahead.
I hear you, Derek.
No, I didn't have a comment. My comment was Chad was waving his hand. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's too late to do anything, but just a question. You said earlier, Penny said earlier that this is a fire official, and you stated it's going to be Harvey Ock. Is that correct?
Yes. It's basically what he's supposed to be doing.
What do you mean he's supposed to be doing? He does.
What his role is.
What happens if Harvey can't do it for one reason or another?
Well, we decided we do need to do succession planning, and that's those discussions are going to start here shortly.
Definitely.
So you have someone in mind if Harvey can't do it for one reason or another, or is it going to
Nope,
be?
nobody's in mind. We just need to do succession planning, and those discussions need to start.
Okay. All right, I'll let it go with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay. January 4th, Board of Supervisor reorganizational meeting location. What's the wish of the board?
I would like to stay with the Zoom. I don't see any let up in the COVID. Until things start to change in the area, I think this is still the responsible way to go.
Yeah, I actually support Jeff on this one. I think it's working okay right now. Again, as long as we still have residents who don't have access to the technology that have the ability to get somewhere. And I think one of the firehouse or with Stevens there is doing that. So I would agree, Jeff, for now. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure how long this is going to continue. You know, overall, and with the rate of COVID-19 out there.
And it's hard to know right where the tipping point will be, where
yeah,
you know, we're on the downside and we should be getting together again. You know, I guess you got to take some cues from the state, what they're doing. You know, the latest restrictions that were put on. You know, like it or not, that's what the state rules are. So, you know, I think that's a good guideline for us to work off of at this point.
Okay. So you want to make a motion that will.
Well, sorry, Alan, I think I did actually saw a hand this time.
Yeah. Whose
You
hand?
did. We're waiting for you to do your thing for comments again.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I want to make a motion to hold the January regular organizational meeting for January 4th, a Zoom meeting.
Yes, did you make the motion? I'll second it, Alan.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Yes.
Alan, it's Doug. Hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna go back. I know I'm a painter and that's all right, but I'm just gonna go back to the comment that I said earlier at the beginning of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are staying home, but you hold the building open. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense to me. If the building's open, who's scrubbing the building? Who's cleaning the ventilating system? You guys are so worried about all this. You're hiding at your house, but you're still letting the authority in there. Now, if you're the tenant, that's one thing, but if you're the landlord, you ought to be saying the building's closed, period, for everybody. That's just my opinion. It won't change. You know, you put these other people at risk, but you guys all stay home. So I'm not going to belabor the point, but you think about it.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Public comment. Any
You want to
public
go through,
comment?
do you want to go through my report quick?
Oh, that's right. Management report. I'm sorry, Penny.
I know, that's okay. It's been quite an evening. So let me just run down through some of the meetings I've attended. Since our last meeting, we had 2 land development meetings, one being the Grayville property and the other Dormicaba. I attended a webinar on our ACA reporting for our forms 1094 and 1095. We had a Zoom meeting with our health insurance provider, BSI, who's our consultant. And we're going to be looking into cost saving measures for 2022. We had another Zoom meeting with our insurance carrier, Kilmer, and we discussed our comprehensive and liability insurances. We do want to schedule an in-person meeting with them to review the detail and various dollar amounts assessed. I think that needs to be looked at. Myself and Mr. Mitchell, who's the fire company liaison, met with Adamstown Fire Company. We had a Zoom meeting there. It was a meet and greet with their chief, Derek Miller, their deputy chief, Daniel Widener, the assistant fire chief, Kevin Daniels, and their mayor, John Schmidt. They just introduced themselves, let us know a little bit about their operation. They said they have a great working relationship with their borough and they're very appreciative of that. They do get an annual donation from them, and they also get money from their Firemen's Relief. They do get a little bit of Brecknock's Firemen's Relief Fund. Their fund drive letter brings in approximately 30% of their return. They did note that all their volunteers were certified, and they thought that was a very important criteria for their volunteers to have. And to wrap it up, they just said they do see a vision for the future in all of our municipalities working and pulling together. So held another Zoom meeting with Brett, our roadmaster. We met with Dr. Musser with the school district, and David Lutz, who's the transportation engineer over there, along with Chief Kepley. And our roadmaster just went over his road services and how he wanted to perform things. He asked how things were done in the past, if they wanted any changes. They were very appreciative of that meeting. And tomorrow meeting, I'll be attending a Zoom meeting on legislators and municipal managers. So those are in the meetings I've attended just since our last board meeting. In my other time, we were doing all the prep for this meeting, all of our year-end resolutions and reports. I did get a hold of Jerry Ozog and had a phone conversation with him. Kind of reviewed the current status, where we're at with our fire companies, and requested just a consultation with him. He's going to prepare different scenarios for our board to look at and review. So I'll be getting back with you on that. Thanks to Ken working with the Attorney General in that case. The timber ordinance has been revamped, and that case has been closed successfully. The Attorney General's office appreciated that the township worked together closely with her office. As you know, I've been spending considerable amount of time on right to know requests. That's been sucking up a lot of my time. As far as the resident concerns, Mr. Mackley and the Eckert Seaman invoices, we were asked if there were any expenses past August 20th. That last invoice I had, the last expense from Eckert Seaman regarding the Flory case was August 19th. He also noted the salt shed was not approved for liquid fuels, but he has since learned that, yes, that is an acceptable expenditure. Ms. Cordan brought up about the overpayment of the pension fund. I just want to clarify that that's not an overpayment, that our payments are made in accordance with the current ordinance we had, but as of this evening, that those were additional monies currently paid to help relieve the distress level in that because the COLA was not being paid out. Now with the revised ordinance and the adoption of that tonight, those monies will no longer be required. Ms. Cordan has been a big part in helping us move forward with this ordinance, the same with RC. So I appreciate both of them doing that. And just finally, just wrap it up once again with our road crew and the great job that they did today. So that's all I have.
Any questions of
I have
Penny?
a question on that, if I may.
Yes. Sure.
So did I hear you correct when you said that by changing the COLA language, that's going to
That'll reduce the amount of money that we're required to pay in.
Yes, the way the
Yes.
contract was written, it was required to put in, but
Yes, that's correct. The way
how
that,
would that change our distress level?
I'm sorry?
How would that change our distress level?
Well, because all that money that was required to pay in before for that COLA and it was not being paid out, that money has helped reduce our level and helped lower our distress level, or improve our distress level, I should say.
So it's going to help improve our distress level.
Well, it did. I'm just saying that, that money helped, helped bring us up to a level where we should be.
Well, our distress level went down.
Right.
No, it got worse. So we're less fully funded. So we went from like a 84, 83, 84 to a 77, which is worse. So I'm confused.
Oh, well, then likewise, so am I. So
'Cause
that'll
during the
definitely
pension
require more
committee-
research.
Yeah, because during the pension committee meeting, it was brought up, because they just published, the Auditor General reported out the distress levels, and ours got worse, not better.
I thought they said it got better. Okay. I'm certainly going to take your word on that, Ms. Cordan. You know what you're talking about. No argument here.
Well, okay, I was just
Yep,
confused.
no argument here. You certainly know what you're talking about, and absolutely.
If I may, I am on the pension committee.
Yeah.
Yep. Chief.
The liability would have gone down if the $186,000 would have been taken out previously.
Mhm.
Therefore, the payment wouldn't have been made. The liability would have been less. I asked this question in December or November of 2019. The liability was not decreased. Therefore, the $186,000 had to be paid this year.
Correct.
It wasn't an overpayment.
Correct. And that's the only point I was trying to make. It wasn't an overpayment. Our ordinance required us to pay that.
But if the ordinance would have been changed,
Yes,
that payment wouldn't have had to happen.
that's
Our
correct.
liability would have been less.
That's
I
correct.
asked that question because I wanted to make everyone aware, or I wanted to be educated so I can make others aware that if the liability went down and were we hurting ourselves by not paying that money? And the answer I got from Ron Bittner and others in the room was no, it would not go down.
Right.
So paying extra that's a different way to put it. We were required to do that, and the $186,000 would not have had to been paid, but our liability would have been less, therefore making us better off.
Right.
Am I understanding that correct, Jill, from what I remember during the committee meeting?
Yeah, because Ron was saying from Gerard, our advisors, that if a COLA adjustment was ever to be made, it would be funded at that point, and he estimated at about 25,000-30,000 that would need to be done. Those are, I had no way to validate those numbers or anything like that.
Well, we appreciate your expertise on this, Jill.
So he was saying that if a COLA would be paid out, it would be a one-time payment of $30,000 to $40,000.
Right.
So,
That's right. That's
Right.
exactly right, Chief.
so in reference to the pension fund, we're if we don't have to pay that 186,000, according to what Ron said, our funding then would go up to 84 to 85%. Am I correct on that, Jill?
I can't remember that. You could be.
I believe that's what he said. I think he said that if the liability wouldn't be there, we would increase.
It makes sense. Yes.
Yes.
To me, it makes sense.
Yeah, Jill, that's what I concur with what the chief is saying. That's what I remember. I'm not looking at my notes here, but that's what I remember.
Any other comments? Questions?
Different topic, but it addresses Ms. Pollock's daily reports or her now monthly report. On the right to know issues, one of the reasons why she's having to take so long with her right to knows is one that's I've requested and had to go all the way to open office, the records office in Harrisburg to get the details, because she is choosing not to release the information that she has already sent to her personal email. So she's having to go through email by email, which ones she can and cannot turn over with the Office of Open Records attorney now. So that's part of what her delay is.
Just
you.
to let Mr. Buckles know, the solicitor did weigh in on that and sending that to my personal email. I violated no laws doing that. So we are sitting down and going through all the redactions.
Very well.
And assigning to them. So
in industry and in federal operations, that is an offense that is a fireable offense. So I'm not sure.
Well, our solicitor disagrees with that, sir. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Personal comments.
You on public comment, Alan?
Sure. Donnie has a comment.
Go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to give you guys an update. The 3 township fire companies are holding a class, or a bunch of classes starting in January. Most of them are going to be at Stevens, but it's going to take new members who have no experience. It's going to go almost the whole year, and we're going to finish at Fire 2. And it's also going to be some of the guys who are been involved with the fire company for years are going to jump in and take classes. So we're going to have a big group from the township, actually, by the end of the year, be Fire 2 firefighters. And we also invited the other 4 fire companies in the Cocalico school district to take part in this. So all 7 fire companies in the school district will have members at this class. And a thought I came up with, and I talked to Chad about the other day, is the Saturday classes, lunch needs to be provided plus snacks for the weeknight classes. And I thought maybe it'd be a good idea if all the township supervisors, whatever, for between the townships and boroughs, maybe go together and show their support and maybe all kind of supply lunch and snacks and stuff on the nights of the classes. Just something to maybe just to put out there to do a little thank you to all the volunteers putting in all those hours of class, because all said and done, it's going to be a couple hundred hours of class till these new guys get done. And plus the old guys like myself and others jump in and finish some of these classes, just throwing it out there. If it's something, maybe Penny can shoot me an email with the managers or something of Adamstown, Denver, and West Cocalico, and send an email out there, and maybe you guys could all work together and doing a service like that. I don't know.
I think that's a good idea, Donnie. I'm all in favor of that.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Got it.
Public comments, Mr. Mackley.
I have a question for the board. Did you give Penny an official performance review? Jeff?
No, sir, we didn't.
Alan?
No, we didn't.
Romeo?
No, we did not.
Okay. I'm looking through my notes here. Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. Off of Penny's notes to the supervisors. David Holliner meeting. This is her writing. Met with Mr. Holliner at Four Seasons, generalized meeting on the township and how I am doing. So again, I'm going to ask you guys, you didn't give her an official performance review, did you?
No, we didn't.
Okay. I just wasn't aware that an individual citizen could request that the manager meet with them at their house or place of business for the purpose of reviewing their performance.
He wasn't reviewing my performance. He just asked me how I was doing and how I liked the job and what I thought of the township. He wasn't reviewing my performance, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading it the way it is. Doesn't the manager have enough to do without engaging in this type of action? Again, it's your writing, met with Mr. Heiner and how I am doing. That tells me that's a performance review.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I could understand how you would think that.
Right. Well, the way it was written, and I'm not reading anything and making it up. So
No.
just a question.
Yeah.
Why would he call you out? Why would he call you to meet him in his business? For the purposes of what? Couldn't he come to the office and do that?
Well, he's a business leader. I've met with several business leaders throughout, sir. He's not the only one. I've met with Sherry up at the hotel. I've been to Mr. Simpson over at Garden Spot. Mr. Fry, you took me around to Mr. Stoner's, you know, so I've met different businessmen throughout, business persons.
Do they ask you to come over or you just go there on your own? I'm just curious.
No, I'm invited.
Okay. Well, it just looks like he was reviewing your performance, letting you know.
No, that's not what it was at all.
Okay, well, again, that's what I take out of it. That was my question.
Understood.
Thank you.
Sure.
Further public comment? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion, Alan.
I'll second it, Alan.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Hey, you tell them, Jim.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.